ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the CICS Foundation 12th Annual Artsy Day Press Conference. We'd like to thank you for coming today, especially friends of the media, sponsors, and community partners. We are most grateful also to Dunhuang Chinese Cuisine for being our venue sponsor for our press conference. 各位來賓，歡迎蒞臨華之處基金會第12屆藝會日記者招待會。非常感謝各位傳媒嘅朋友、贊助商以及社區嘅人士對我哋嘅支持。我哋亦都喺呢度特別鳴謝敦煌酒樓係擔任我哋嘅記者招待會嘅場地贊助嘅。First of all, I'd like to introduce you to the guests seated at the head table. Mr. Patrick Yuen, President of CICS Foundation. Mr. Kenny Wen, Co-Chair of Artsy Day and also President of CICS. Mr. Anders Nelson, Feature Performer of Artsy Day. Ms. Teresa Tazumi, Event Co-Chair. Mr. Danny Moy, Executive Director of CICS. Amplify Financial, Ms. Catherine Lee. From RBC Royal Bank, Mr. John Mann. Mr. Silvio Grado. From TD Canada Trust, Mr. Henry Kwong. And from CIBC, we have our co-chair, Ms. Teresa Kazumi. Cruise Holidays of Unionville, Mr. George Lee. HSBC Bank Canada, Mr. Francis Kwong. Kenny Wen, Chartered Accountant, with our co-chair as well, Mr. Kenny Wen. And from Toronto Elegant Lions Club, Ms. Juliana Chen. From C&C Immigrant Service Canada Inc., Ms. Alice Wu. And from Uchino Fashions, Mr. Alan Ho. And from TD Waterhouse Private Client Services, Ms. Helen Lee. Mr. Chow will be our volunteer Master of Ceremonies at the event on Saturday. And from Miracle Comforter, we have Mr. David Cott. From Song Marketing, we have Ms. Rosalind Song and Mrs. Rainbow Mui. And from Royal Canadian Winds Asian Business Center, we have Ms. Sandy Yan. And from Singtao Daily News and New Continent, Ms. Grace Yang. Ms. Teresa Wong. And of course our President, Mr. Patrick Yuen. So I'd like to ask Mr. Patrick Yuen, President of CICS, to say a few words.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of CICS Foundation, I welcome you all to the second press conference for our 12th annual Artsy Day Gala. It is a pleasure to have so many of our sponsors and community partners with us this morning. I would like to extend a special welcome to Mr. Anders Nelson, who has flown in all the way from Hong Kong to be with us today. So welcome to Toronto, Anders. Thank you. CICS Foundation is proud to host this annual event in order to raise funds to support the charitable activities of CICS. I'm happy to point out that the recent increases in settlement dollars from the federal government will enable CICS to provide more quality settlement and employment services to benefit the immigrants community. With additional funding, higher levels of language training, as well as computer-assisted learning will soon be offered by CICS. Despite such increases, there are still many key services for seniors, children and youth not covered by government funding. Non-profit agencies like CICS are expected to make up the shortfall by organizing their own fundraising initiatives. Over the past 12 years, CICS Foundation is grateful that our sponsors and community partners have given RC Day their unwavering support. Apart from supporting the CICS activities, the net proceeds from RC Day will also be used towards the capital fundraising project to build a new immigrant resource center. I wish to thank our co-chairs, Teresa and Kenny, and members of the organizing committee for their hard work. However, their efforts can only reap results with the generous support of our sponsors and community partners. My sincere appreciation to all of you for your generosity. I know Anders will put on an excellent performance for all of us this coming Saturday, and I'm confident that you will have a wonderful evening, and I look forward to seeing you at the gala.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome all to the press conference this morning, and thanks for joining us. And of course, thank you, Anders, for joining us this morning as well. Since our first press conference in August, our organizing committee has been working really hard to put this event together and make it a success. And with their help, we're very proud to announce that we have actually sold 75 tables, which is a record as far as I know, to CICS RC Day. So thank you, everybody, the committee members of the organizing team. And of course, with this big success, we'd like to thank you all the generous support from the sponsors as well as from the donors. And this year's our sponsors are Diamond sponsors, Freedom 55 Financial, RBC Financial Group, TD Canada Trust, and the Gold sponsors are CIBC, Cruise Holidays of Bayview Hill and Unionville, HSBC Bank Canada, Dr. KK Leung, Kenny Wang Chartered Accountant, Scotiabank, Splendid China Group, Su Chan Law Professional Corporation, the Toronto Elegant Lions Club. And we also have our dinner and raffle ticket sponsor, which is Atlantic Financial Corporation and Atlantic Deposit Corporation. Silver sponsors are Asian Fresh, CNC Immigrant Services Canada Inc., New World Insurance, Shoes Sing Steve Inc., Remax Golden Realty Inc., TD Waterhouse Private Client Services, Alan Lee, and Uchino. And of course, we also have a list of our service sponsor and media sponsor that we'd like to thank. They are media sponsor, Fairchild Radio, Fairchild Television, and Television, Singtel Delhi, and New Continent, as well as World Journal. Hotel sponsor, Hilton Suites Toronto, Markham Conference Center and Spa. Press conference venue sponsor, Dunhuang Chinese Cuisine. Printing sponsor, Bastille Graphics and Printing. Advertising concept and design, Regal Communication Group. Production sponsor, CVI Professional Sound and Production Inc. Floral sponsor, Kunai Florist and more. String Quartet, Toronto Cultural Youth Orchestra. Makeup and hair styling, Faces Makeup Studio and Bridal Boutique. Catering sponsor, Elegant View Chinese Restaurant. And of course, we also like to thank our RC Day raffle ticket sponsors, and they have been selling very well so far. And these sponsors are Tour East Holidays, Home Comfort Center, and Hilton Suites Hotel for donating great prices for our raffles. And our thanks also go out to everyone who has donated table prices as well as silent auction prices for our silent auction program. So remember to bring your wallet and credit card to start Christmas shopping ahead of time. And with this success, of course, with all the generous support from our sponsors and donors, we'll be able to, hopefully we'll be able to exceed our record of 130,000 net proceed. And this net proceed would help us to make a step forward or to make a step closer to our dream of building our new immigrant resource center. And we also like, at this point, we also like to thank Ms. Loretta Lam of Focus Communications, as well as Mr. Eric Chan, news anchor of Fairchild TV, to be our MCs again for our RC Day this year. And thank you, Eric, for your presence this morning. And of course, the highlight of the RC Day Gala dinner this year is no doubt the featured performance by Anders Nelson. And since taking the Hong Kong music stage by storm in the early 60s and 70s with his band, the Continentals, Anders has been a driving force behind many music initiatives in Asia. In addition to being a great singer, Anders is a composer, a record producer, an actor, and as well as PR consultant. We very much look forward to Anders' performance this Saturday, and I'm sure that he will perform wonders for us that evening, and we look forward to that.
大家好，歡迎各位嚟臨今日藝匯日記者招待會。相信大家都期待同大會嘅表演嘉賓聶安達先生見面。Anders，歡迎你。自從我哋喺8月下旬，我哋第一次記者招待會之後呢，藝匯日各個籌委都好努力籌備工作不懈，都得各個贊助商同埋社區人士嘅鼎力支持。今年度嘅藝匯日呢，係可以創出好好嘅成績。已經有超過750名嘅嘉賓呢係購票同埋確定會出席晚宴，預計嘅淨收益係會超過13萬。咁呢個呢係可以用嚟資助華資處日常嘅服務，同埋亦都可以資助呢個移民資源中心嘅基建計劃嘅。喺呢度我謹向以下嘅贊助商同社區人士致深切嘅謝意，包括第12屆藝匯日嘅鑽石贊助係皇家銀行金融集團、倫敦理財、道明加拿大信託。黃金贊助嘅有加拿大帝國商業銀行、繽紛郵輪、加拿大匯豐銀行、梁國江博士、溫建業特許會計師樓、加拿大豐業銀行、錦繡中華發展集團、陳心瓊律師樓同多倫多雅賢獅子會嘅，非常多謝。另外恒信集團係再次係贊助我哋餐券同埋抽獎券嘅印刷。銀贊助方面嘅機構係包括 Asian Fresh、嘉華移民留學中心、新世界保險、TT Waterhouse Private Client Service 嘅李汪克遠女士、Uchino Fashions 同埋 Remax Golden Realty 嘅吳樹星先生嘅。我哋都係多謝以下嘅服務贊助㗎，包括傳媒贊助嘅加拿大中文電台、新時代電視、星島日報同新大陸、城市電視同世界日報嘅。廣告同埋設計贊助係 Regal Communication Group， 印務贊助係厚泰文儀家私印刷行，製作贊助係 TCY Professional Science and Production Inc。 酒店贊助有 Hilton Street Toronto Markham Common Centre and Spa， 場地贊助係敦煌酒樓，仲有弦樂團係 Toronto Cultural Youth Orchestra， 鮮花贊助係花之戀人，化妝同埋髮型贊助係顏妝，膳食贊助有耀永酒樓。咁今年嘅藝匯日嘅抽獎券每張係仍然售5蚊嘅，請大家踴躍購買。在此，我哋向東亞旅遊、家居設備中心同埋希爾頓酒店佢哋係送出名貴禮品獎品嘅。咁我喺度亦都係要向佢哋表達謝意。另外呢， 籌委會都要向捐贈呢個 Table Pies 同埋 Sana Ocean 嘅各個商號同社區人士係要致意嘅。藝會日今日我哋今年咧係獲得 Focus Communications 林志華女士同埋新時代電視周浩輝先生擔當我哋大會司儀 Eric， 多謝你支持我哋。本年度藝會日係我哋請得香港著名音樂人 Anders Nelson 聶安達先生出任我哋表演嘉賓。喺60年代開始，聶安達先生已經生活係活躍於香港同埋亞洲嘅藝能界㗎啦。除咗唱歌之外 ，Anders 係從事呢個作曲同埋唱片製作，佢經常係演出電影同電視嘅，多才多藝。相信大家都係萬分期待 Anders 嘅精彩演出，約定大家喺星期六見，謝謝大家。
大家早晨，好多謝 CICS 請我翻嚟 Toronto 參加呢個咁有意思嘅活動。That's my little bit of showing off there. I spent the last 3 weeks just learning that phrase. Thank you. So I'd like to start by telling you a little true story that actually happened in August. I was here very briefly as a guest of Don Choi's concert, and because I was in Canada, I took the opportunity to visit Vancouver, where all the other members of the Continentals live. I think most of you are too young, you never heard of the Continentals, but that was my first band back in the 60s. So we had a very nice reunion dinner, and we chatted, and we talked about maybe the possibility of one day doing some sort of reunion. Now they don't want to travel, they don't want to go to Hong Kong, they just want to stay in Canada. So I said, well, let's find a worthy cause, a charity or something that we can support. And the drummer, Sidney Fadidad, he mentioned CICS. Now, he sort of mumbled a little bit, and I thought he said success. And then I went on the internet when I got back to Hong Kong, and I Googled and I checked, and then I realized that CICS and the word success, actually they're interchangeable because you are very successful. So I'm very happy to be here, and I'd like to thank all of you for inviting me back. It's a very worthy cause, especially I think for someone who is, I won't say, well, multinational, multicultural, because even this morning someone asked me, 你究竟係邊度人啊？你喺香港好多年，但係你原本喺邊度咧？係咪香港出世嘅？你係咪中國出世？ Actually, that's quite a long story, but I'll make it brief. My parents were Swedish, and I was born in Berkeley, California, because they studied Mandarin at UC Berkeley before going to China as missionaries. So they arrived in Wulan, Changsha, in Changsha in the Hunan province, which is the home of Mao Zedong, when I was 8 months old. Now, the Communist Party and Mao Zedong did not like foreigners very much, especially not missionaries. So when I was 3 years old and they came to power, they kicked us out of China. My dad used to proudly tell the story. He said, Mao Zedong personally kicked our family out of China. Actually, I don't think he personally did, but his clique, his group did it. And last Saturday, the 18th of November, was the 57th anniversary of my arrival in Hong Kong. That's when we started to live in Hong Kong. Thank you. So I'm a little bit Swedish, a little bit American, very much Hong Kongese, and maybe people say I'm probably 80% Chinese by now. But I sat down just before coming to work out my connections with Canada. Most of my childhood friends and schoolmates are somewhere in Canada, probably 70 or 80%, somewhere in some city in Canada. So it's like coming home to visit old friends. And someone in introducing me mentioned I do some PR, I produce events in Hong Kong, and for the past 4 or 5 years we have been producing the annual Canadian Community Ball in Hong Kong, so I have a very close connection. and I'm a member, I think legally, of the Canadian Chamber of Commerce in Hong Kong. So I think I'm very mixed up, maybe a little bit Swedish, a little bit Canadian by mixing with a lot of Canadians. So it's very nice to be here, very worthy cause, and thank you for inviting me.
His latest CDs for charity sale, and all the proceeds will go to the Artsy Day event. Thank you very much indeed, Anders. And these CDs will be on sale on the night of the gala on the 26th, so please make sure that you come out to the foyer early and get your copies. And also Anders will be present to autograph the CDs, so do come out, and definitely, as Teresa mentioned earlier, bring your wallet and credit cards and you won't be disappointed. At this point, I'd like to arrange for a group photo. Mr. Mann, please. So please stay behind to join us for a dim sum lunch.